Welcome to the CNBC TV 18 special. I'm Shereen Bhan, and joining me today is the new man at the helm of TCS, Rajesh Gopinathan. Rajesh, congratulations and thanks very much for joining us
on
CNBC TV 18. So let me start by asking you, when did you have an inkling that this was likely to be the development?
The actual thing I got to know only on the day of the announcement.
After the board meeting?
After the board
meeting.
What
was your first reaction?
Oh my God.
What was the thought that went through your head?
No, I mean, it was a mix of everything. A lot of excitement and just the magnitude, the sheer magnitude of it. I've dealt with a lot of TCS, but suddenly to see the whole thing together was a very overwhelming experience. I was sitting together with the guys when the announcement came, and very, very happy with the way there was a spontaneous reaction. I think that the spirit of TCS came through, and that was, so it was first elation, then oh my God, and then everybody coming around congratulating, and it was a very nice feeling.
So has there been a handing over note from Chandra to you yet?
No, it's work in progress right now. Started with the analyst call where he said you go ahead and take it, but it's not going to be like that. Chandra is going to be around. He's going to be the chairman, and he's too deeply integrated with it. So we're going to be kind of weaning him off it only very slowly. We're going to try to hold on to him as much as we can. But more importantly, it's not. It's going to take time, and he's going to be there for quite some time. And we're going to take it slowly. So right now we're focusing on the key customer relationships.
What is the feedback been from customers? What was the reaction from customers to this development?
I think many of them are quite, they're very happy for Chandra, first of all. That's been the primary reaction. And they know TCS has a fairly long standing history of the management continuity. All of us have been there for quite a long time. So they are not too worried because they know the TCS DNA is that there is a lot of continuity. And the fact that the rest of the client servicing team is staying intact, and we're putting in NGS as the CEO to increase the bandwidth. So there's a lot of comfort. We're looking forward to the whole, how the transition goes. But I haven't seen any negative concern per se, and that comes from the history. They have seen people inside TCS move roles, but still continue within TCS. So they always have a point of contact to go back to if it ever comes to that. And even that has not come, because the core to the company is we make 16 billion out of 800 odd customers, and most of those relationships are long-standing relationships. So that continuity is valued by the clients, and that will continue. And that's the message that we were reiterating, and they've seen enough of us that they believe that message. So that's been the...
You've of course got a long history with TCS, but I want to pick up on what you said, that so far you've been looking at one aspect, so to speak, of TCS, essentially the numbers. How do you squeeze out more? How do you improve margins and so on and so forth? Now you've got to look at the picture a lot more holistically, so it would require a little bit of reorientation on your part as well. What do you see as the big challenges there?
So a bit of perspective on that. I started off in a pre-sales role. So I was in the Valley for about 5-6 years when the e-business practice. So I joined TCS in 2001. Spent 5 years with the group company Tata Industries. Then came to TCS in 2001. At that time, Chandra was putting together the e-business practice. And we were in a similar transition period. We were getting out of the old ADM group. And the new thing then was e-business. And e-business was less than $100 million. And he had put an audacious target that we should be 500 million, and that was a big number for us. And then I went to the Valley, and I anchored the pre-sales team on the West Coast side. So I've kind of been in one of these journeys. I came back in 2005. Then I was in the operations side. And as we went through this whole post-listing, when we changed our whole model, I was very closely involved in the whole reorganization of the company. And then in the last 6-7 years, I've been more in the formal finance sector. So it's not that I'm, been only in finance through. It's just that the last few years have been more
That's been what you've been focused on.
And really, I think the success has come because of, rather than looking at it from a pure accounting perspective, how do you marry the operations part of it, and how do you marry the strategy part of it back into the financial. I think that's been the core to the I would say the outperformance that we had. So it's not going to be a seamless transition, but it's not a transition that should be a very difficult journey. It's kind of, I'm going back to my business route where I started, rather than going into a totally new space. So I'm very excited about it.
And raring to go. You know, if I were to ask you about the strategic levers, and of course, you know TCS inside out, you know your capabilities, and you probably know what needs to be enhanced and where it needs to be enhanced. If I were to ask you about the strategic levers, not a quarter or 2 quarters down the line, but, you know, where do you think over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, you know, what is it that you feel TCS needs to do in order for you to sort of stay relevant in this sort of disruptive economy that we're seeing?
So I would say, put it this way, TCS has got the most integrated service delivery capacity between IT, operations and products, and IP and domain capability. Probably we've got the best portfolio among any technology services company in the world. So, and the world of technology consumption by the enterprise is going to be an integrated world. It's not going to be about a product or a service. The clients want something to be delivered, an outcome to be delivered, and how do you deliver that on an integrated way? So we are very well positioned. We have been selling based on what the traditional models of client buying behavior has been. And the trick will be, how do we recombine our services into different bundles and repurpose it to the way the client wants it. So it's going to be a different way, an integrated way, and holistic way of doing it. On top of it, we have the benefit of a fairly large technology transformation going on, in which we are participating very significantly. So very excited about the whole digital journey. And at 16% now, it's becoming a fairly large chunk of the business. And we will continuously pivot into this space. And that's a very interesting space for us.
You don't give guidance. I'm not asking you to even tell me what the next quarter looks like. But, you know, your peers have these ambitious targets that they've set for themselves, or aspiration, as they like to call it. Infosys by 2020, $20 billion. Wipro, $15 billion by 2020. EBIT margins at 23%. What is the aspiration that you have within TCS?
You need to give me some time as in that, and we'll come out this thing. But right now, it is about making sure that the transition is smooth, and we are able to go through the whole area and make sure that Chandra doesn't have any headaches in his new role. So
what do you see as big risks at this point in time? And, you know, you've just gone through your quarterly results, so I won't ask you to sort of reiterate some of those challenges that we spoke about and what's happening with across different sectors, BFSI and so on and so forth. But, you know, in terms of the key risks for the business today, how would you
I'm saying if you look across most of our markets, the economies are doing well. So actually, even the US economy obviously is doing quite well. And UK, despite of everything, it's doing a lot better than what we expected. And parts of Europe are also doing quite well. And India is looking up.
What would the H1B exposure be for TCS?
Yeah, so the risks are more on the political side, whether it be on the H1B side or in the UK side, wherever one. But we are very, very optimistic. In fact, that's a message that we're picking up here also as we talk to our clients and our partners. There's a sense of pragmatic optimism. They know that it's a bit of a tough world. It's going to take some amount of doing. But people are focused on getting on with it. And we are well positioned to participate. So the specifics will emerge as the specifics of the challenges emerge. But I would say that we are well positioned overall to ride it out and quite excited about the whole thing.
So let me end by asking you one or two questions, even though I'm being signaled to wrap this up. So I'm going to ignore that signal for another 5 minutes. But, you know, in terms of acquisitions, and this has been something that we've been asking Chandra about as well, you know, Wipro's adopted a string of pearls acquisition strategy. Infosys is also sort of nibbling around with small ticket acquisitions as well. Are we likely to see, or do you feel that that is the need of the hour now as far as TCS is concerned?
See, one of the underappreciated things about TCS is that we have a fairly active acquisition history. The thing about us is that we have been very good at integrating acquisitions, and that also gives us the, you know, it's a warning sign that you don't go around doing it in a programmatic sense. You got to make sure that you are able to integrate it. So we are very active in terms of deal scanning. We participate a lot on the deal scanning side of it, and looking out for the right opportunities. But the important thing is that we are not waiting for acquisitions to solve the issue. We've got a very strong organic growth engine going. So in this whole space of digital, we're almost now running into a 3 billion kind of a business, which is built scratch up, right? So it's not that we're sitting on our heels, neither doing acquisition, nor doing growth. If the right asset comes around, which we believe will provide us the right capability and the right fit, which we can integrate and which will accelerate our growth, we'll definitely go ahead and do it. We are not, we have a good history, a good, strong, confident history of integrating, but it has to be the right asset. So the important thing is not acquisition, yes or no. The important thing is the right asset available, and do we believe that we can integrate it? If we do that, we will get on.
So my final question then, you're here in Davos, you're talking to some of your clients, you're talking to other business leaders from across geographies. What is the sense that you get in terms of spending, a pickup in spending, or decisions that were being put on the hold now starting to come back up on stream, and pricing as well? In terms of sentiment, confidence, what do you pick up as you talk to leaders here?
As I said, the word I would use to describe it is pragmatic optimism, because this is Davos, finally. There is always the political overhang, and this year it's even more so. So the political risk is well understood, or not well appreciated, if not necessarily well understood, because nobody quite knows how it will play out. But overall, enterprises are saying that this is not going to go away. And it's been like this, and it's likely to continue for some time, because these are not things that are going to resolve in the next month or two. And so we've got to get on with our own lives and figure out what to make sense out of it. And the solution to that will always involve technology. Actually, in an interview by Mr. Schwab, he mentioned it very nicely, is that a lot of the disruption that is happening is due to technology. But when he was asked, what is the great hope? He said the hope is technology. So that's where it is. So we are at that crossroads.
So what's the one piece of advice Chandra has given you?
Keep smiling.
Keep smiling. You've done a great job of that, Rajesh. Wish you all the very best, and thank you very much for joining us on CNBC TV 18. Wish you a great innings.